In 1518, a strange phenomenon gripped the city of Strasbourg. People began dancing uncontrollably, unable to stop for days. What began with one individual soon spread through the streets, turning into a bizarre and unsettling spectacle. This event, known as the Dancing Plague of 1518, remains one of the most mysterious episodes in European history. It left historians and medical experts puzzled for centuries, raising questions about its cause. The year 1518 was a time of great change and upheaval across Europe. Religious tensions were rising, with the Protestant Reformation beginning to take shape. In Spain, the Magellan expedition was being planned, marking the start of a new era of global exploration. Meanwhile, in France, political shifts were occurring, and the year was marked by several important treaties and military engagements that would shape the course of European history. In Strasbourg, the city was experiencing its own unique challenges. The region was still recovering from the effects of the Black Death, and economic hardship was widespread. Social unrest was common, and people were often desperate for relief. These conditions may have contributed to the strange and unexplained phenomenon that would soon take hold of the city and spread beyond its borders. As the year progressed, the political and religious landscape of Europe continued to shift. The Catholic Church was facing growing challenges from reformers, and the power of monarchs was being tested in various regions. These broader changes may have influenced the mindset of the people in Strasbourg, setting the stage for the bizarre and inexplicable event that would soon capture the world's attention. As Frau Troffea continued her relentless dancing, more and more people from the surrounding area gathered to watch. At first they stood in awe, but soon some began to join her. What started as an isolated incident quickly became a phenomenon that spread through the streets. The locals were bewildered, unsure whether to fear or follow. Some tried to intervene, but the dancers could not be stopped, and the numbers continued to grow. The sight of so many people dancing without pause became a spectacle that drew attention from all corners of the city. Some believed it was a divine punishment, while others saw it as a form of madness. Authorities were powerless to halt the outbreak, and the situation only worsened as more people joined the dance. It was clear that something strange and inexplicable was taking hold of Strasbourg, and the city stood on the edge of a bizarre and unrelenting crisis. As the afflicted individuals danced, their bodies showed no signs of stopping. They moved in a trance-like state, their feet blistered and bleeding from the relentless motion. Despite their exhaustion, they could not rest, their limbs moving as if compelled by an invisible force. Some danced in circles, others in wild, chaotic patterns, their movements growing more frenzied with each passing hour. Authorities and townspeople in Strasbourg were deeply perplexed by the phenomenon. Some sought to intervene, hoping to calm the afflicted through prayer or the administration of herbal remedies. Others stood in stunned silence, watching as the bizarre event unfolded before them. Religious leaders called for processions and masses, believing divine intervention was needed. Meanwhile, local physicians were at a loss, unable to explain the strange affliction that gripped the town. As the days passed, the situation grew more chaotic. Some townspeople attempted to physically restrain the dancers, though their efforts were met with resistance. Others turned to superstition, believing the affliction was a punishment from the devil or a curse upon the town. Efforts to explain the phenomenon through science were limited, and many turned to the church for answers. The afflicted continued their relentless dancing, seemingly unaffected by the attempts to intervene. At the time, many believed the dancing plague was a result of supernatural forces or divine punishment. The church, struggling to explain the phenomenon, invoked the idea of demonic possession or divine retribution for the sins of the people. Some clergy called for public penance, urging the afflicted to seek forgiveness through prayer and confession. Others, however, sought to understand the condition through medical theories, though these were limited by the scientific knowledge of the era. Despite the religious interpretations, some individuals attempted to find medical explanations for the dancing mania. They speculated that the condition might be caused by a physical illness, a poison, or even a mental affliction. However, without the tools of modern medicine, these theories remained speculative and often contradictory. Some suggested that the dancers were suffering from a mysterious disease, while others believed the condition was linked to an imbalance of bodily humors. In the absence of clear medical knowledge, some turned to the idea that the plague was a form of mass hysteria, a psychological phenomenon fueled by fear and stress. Others suggested that the afflicted were experiencing a form of trance or possession, brought on by the influence of the devil. These explanations, though varied, reflected the deep uncertainty and fear that gripped the town of Strasbourg during this strange and unsettling event. One of the most widely accepted theories is that of ergot poisoning. Ergot is a fungus that can grow on rye and other grains, and when consumed, it can cause hallucinations, convulsions, and uncontrollable movements. In 1518, Strasbourg was a center of grain production, and poor storage conditions may have allowed ergot to proliferate. This theory suggests that the dancing plague was not a supernatural event, but a biological one caused by the ingestion of contaminants. Another theory points to the psychological and social conditions of the time. Strasbourg was undergoing significant social and economic stress, including food shortages and political unrest. These conditions may have contributed to a form of mass hysteria, where fear and anxiety manifested in collective behavior. Some historians argue that the dancing was a coping mechanism, a way for people to release tension in a society where expressing emotion was often restricted. While ergot poisoning offers a plausible explanation, it is important to consider the broader social and economic conditions in Strasbourg during the early 16th century. The city was experiencing a period of hardship, with many residents living in poverty. Food shortages and high taxes placed a heavy burden on the lower classes, leading to widespread discontent and stress. These factors may have made individuals more vulnerable to the effects of ergot, or even. The economic struggles of the time were not limited to food insecurity. Strasbourg was a city of merchants, but trade was unpredictable, and many people lived on the edge of survival. The stress of poverty, combined with the uncertainty of the future, may have created an environment where people were more susceptible to mass hysteria or collective psychological phenomena. This social tension could have played a role in the spread of the dancing mania, even if ergot was not the source. In addition to economic hardship, the social structure of the time may have influenced how people responded to the outbreak. The rigid class system meant that many individuals had little control over their lives, and their frustrations may have found an outlet in the bizarre and uncontrollable behavior of the dancing. These social and economic pressures may have contributed to the intensity and duration of the mania, even if they were not the direct cause. Eventually, the dancing plague in Strasbourg came to an end, though the exact reason for its cessation remains unclear to this day. Some accounts suggest that the afflicted individuals simply stopped dancing after a period of exhaustion. Others believe that the authorities intervened, perhaps by offering food, shelter, or religious rituals to calm the affected people. Whatever the cause, the mania gradually subsided, and the citizens of Strasbourg returned to their normal lives. As the dancing ceased, the town of Strasbourg began to recover from the chaos. Local leaders may have taken steps to address the underlying issues that had contributed to the outbreak, such as economic hardship or social unrest. The people, having experienced a bizarre and uncontrollable episode, likely turned their attention back to the daily struggles of life. The memory of the dancing plague, however, would linger in the minds of the townspeople for years to come. In the months and years that followed, the dancing plague of 1518 faded into the annals of history. Though no definitive explanation was ever recorded, the event remained a source of fascination and mystery. Strasbourg, like many other towns across Europe, continued to evolve, and the strange episode of mass dancing was eventually regarded as a peculiar footnote in the long and complex story of human experience. The dancing plague of 1518 has become a fascinating case study in the history of epidemics, mass hysteria, and the limits of medieval understanding of disease. It highlights the fragile balance between physical health, mental well-being, and societal pressures. Historians and scientists continue to analyze the event, drawing connections between historical anomalies and modern psychological and medical theories. The plague remains a symbol of the unpredictable nature. Over time, the dancing plague has been reinterpreted through various lenses, from medical to sociological. It serves as a reminder of how societies respond to inexplicable events, often through religious or superstitious means. The episode has inspired countless books, documentaries, and even films, each offering a unique perspective on the mystery. It has become a cultural touchstone, illustrating the power of collective behavior and the human need for explanation. Today, the dancing plague of 1518 is studied not only for its historical significance, but also for its relevance to modern discussions on mental health, social contagion, and public health responses. It offers valuable insights into how fear, stress, and misinformation can spread like a disease. As researchers continue to explore its roots, the event remains a compelling example of the intersection between history, science, and human psychology. Modern scholars view the dancing plague of 1518 as a window into the past, revealing the interplay between mental health, social stress, and public perception. It serves as a reminder of the limitations of historical medical knowledge and the ways in which communities responded to inexplicable phenomena. Researchers today analyze the event through multiple lenses, from psychology to epidemiology, emphasizing the importance of context in understanding human behavior. The event has also sparked interest in the study of mass psychogenic illness, a phenomenon where groups of people exhibit similar physical symptoms without a clear organic cause. The dancing plague is often cited as one of the earliest recorded cases of such an event, offering valuable insights into how collective anxiety can manifest in unexpected ways. This perspective helps modern audiences connect the past with contemporary issues of mental health and social contagion. In the present day, the dancing plague is not just a historical curiosity, but a subject of ongoing academic and scientific inquiry. It has inspired interdisciplinary research, blending history, medicine, and psychology to better understand the forces that shaped human behavior in the past. The event continues to captivate the public imagination, serving as a powerful example of how history can inform our understanding of the human condition.